Helen Yee here with Las Vegas Sports Network, and joining me is Will Hernandez. Now, with the NFL draft just a few days away, I know you're in town with your family getting ready for the draft. Can you kind of talk about, how special this moment is for you?
You know what? Having all my family here in Vegas and a lot of my friends from college coming in also, and having everybody in one room at one time, I'm excited. I'm excited for everybody that gets to enjoy this too with me, and I'm excited just to get started and start playing.
And I'm sure when you went to Chaparral High School here, it's a lot different. Las Vegas is a lot different now than it was back then. And now the Raiders are coming with the Golden Knights and the Aces. Like, we have so many sports. It is a sports town now. What do you think of it? And, did anything surprise you when you kind of returned to Las Vegas?
Yeah, I think it's awesome that we're getting all these new teams. I'm already a fan. Especially coming back from El Paso, I would come in, maybe once every 6 months. And so I come back and I see that, the T-Mobile Arena, this is through the 5 years that I was away in college. I come back and I see they're building the T-Mobile Arena. Then I leave again and I come back and I see that the Golden Knights are here. And then I'm like, oh, wow, okay. And I leave and then I find out, the Raiders are coming to town. So it was like a surprise almost every year I was gone. And especially coming back. This past about 6 months ago, when all that construction started on the on the freeways, on the 95 and the 15 and all that, I came back. I'm like, wow, this city's gonna definitely grow from all these teams coming into town, especially the Raiders. I already see a bunch of construction going on, freeways being expanded. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, and speaking of the Raiders, I'm sure a lot of people have asked you kind of what team you want to play for. I've seen that you said you wouldn't mind playing for the Cowboys and, a few other teams. But is there a team in particular, that in your heart, maybe even like say your parents really wanted you to play for, or in general that you would kind of lean towards?
Well, you know what? My mom actually, of course, she wants me to stay home and be around a lot more often, so she wants me to be a Raider. But I honestly don't mind playing for any of the 32 teams. There's a lot I can't control, and I can't pick what team I'm going to. So the fact that I can't control that, I'm cool with going to whatever team wants to pick me up.
And you're only 22 years old, going to be a first-round draft pick. It's essentially less than 48 hours away, or just about 48 hours. Can you kind of talk about just this whole experience so far, and also, with your family, because I know you guys are pretty close, right?
Yeah. So, my family's excited. They're happiest I've ever seen them before. All my friends are excited for me, my coaches. I think this has brought not only joy to me, but a lot of the people around me, and that's the coolest part about it. I'm going to be here for the draft. I'm going to be, with all my family and friends and some close friends that are coming from my college town of El Paso, Texas, and I'm just excited.
Yeah. And what about being born and raised here in Las Vegas? Do you have any special memories, or from playing football here when you were younger?
Yeah, so, Vegas is where I actually started playing football for the very first time in my life ever. Started playing my freshman year of high school, and this is really where it all started. My freshman year, if you would have seen my film, you would have said he's never going to the NFL. He might not even be able to get into college. I first started playing football. I was new to it. I was a horrible player, and it's crazy how far I've come from that. It's like night and day, really, from high school to college. Vegas is very special to me because this is where the dream started.
Yeah, and so I'm curious now, like, who kind of encouraged you to play football?
Yeah, so my first couple of years in high school, I wasn't too good of a student. I was real mature, didn't really have love for the game yet. So what happened was there was a coaching change halfway through going into my junior year of high school. And these two coaches that are now, they're like real close to me. And these two coaches came in, saw potential in me, and they basically educated me on the whole process of earning a scholarship and playing football in the next level. I didn't even know that there was scholarships to play football. You know, I was very naive to everything. And they educated me, and they guided me, and they pushed me to being a better player and a better student. And that caused me to finally earn a scholarship. And from there on, you know, I knew I wanted to play in the NFL. So they were the ones that really got me. They kind of jump-started me into becoming a great player.
And is that when you kind of knew that, hey, maybe I can play professional football?
Yeah, I knew that that's what I wanted to do. I knew I could do it. It wasn't really up until my college years, early in my college years, that I started gaining confidence and actually started knowing that, you know, I have a legit shot of playing, and I have to try to make it happen.
Yeah, and I also heard that you said a big part is you want to give back and help kids too. Can you kind of talk about that?
Yeah, so just within the opportunity that I'm receiving, you know, that's really what's that right away I'm helping people without even trying, because it shows kids and it shows athletes now that, you know, you can come from a small high school, you can come from a smaller, you know, one of the smaller Division I programs and still make it to the top. And you know, I think that's really cool, because I'm not even trying it and I'm already inspiring kids. I get messages from kids all the time and social media, and it just, you know, it fuels me up to keep going and do more. But when I actually start, you know, trying and setting things up and going out and talking to kids and talking to athletes, I feel that's when it's really going to take off. But I'm excited that, you know, I'm able to make an impact on kids now, just going through the process myself. And I want to make sure every kid, you know, has that opportunity, or at least knows that they have that option.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I mean, a big thing too, like you mentioned, to give back and to help kids, you know, because everyone does have a dream, and some starts in high school. I mean, that kind of surprised me. I was like, oh, wow, like you didn't start till kind of late, you know?
Pretty late.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a late bloomer. And yeah, I think, you know, if I just really want to make sure that, you know, a lot of the kids, because I didn't know anything my freshman year. I didn't know this was even an option. So at least the least I can do is put it in front of all the kids and show them that, you know, at least you have this option to do it. Yeah. If they want it.
And what was your parents' reaction? And what is their reaction this week?
You know, they're excited. You know, they're really happy. They'd be happy for me regardless of what I was doing, as long as it made me happy, you know. But they're really excited. They learned a lot. You know, my dad was actually a professional soccer player back in Mexico. And, you know, the love that he has for the game now himself, too. He's educated himself on the game, because I'm telling you, we didn't know anything about football my freshman year of high school. They just came out and saw me and didn't even really understand what was going on, but they were cheering me on. So the fact now that my dad is really into it and we watch it all the time and it's on in our household, my mom watches football, my sister loves it now, and we can all, you know, bond together over it. I think that's the coolest part about it.
Absolutely. And lastly, you mentioned that your mom kind of wants you to stay home, play for the Raiders in the new state-of-the-art stadium that's being built. What about your dad?
My dad, he just wants me to go to the team that, you know, wants me as well. He's not too concerned of where exactly I'm going to be located. He just wants, you know, me to go to the team that best fits me and, you know, go all out and play for him.
And is there a certain player that you've always watched and wanted to be teammates with?
I would probably say Richie Incognito. Yeah, a lot of scouts were comparing me to him and telling me a lot about him. And I actually, you know, my last couple years in college, I would watch a lot of film on him, and just because I always thought he was a great player. And I heard he's a real funny guy, cool guy. And so, yeah, I always wanted to play with him.